this looked like it was turning, but the whole question is it sustainable? This is a big bad downtrend, and you have these rallies and then it gets kicked back. What you're about to see is a video snippet from inside the boiler room. Every single morning before the open of the US stock markets, I analyze dozens of stocks and then decide on the trades that we're going to look at for that day with dozens of traders. We all get together, execute trades, chat some, and make some money together on a Zoom conference call. Go to thepatterntrader.com/club to find out more. Again, even if Apple's going to come off, it still looks complicated in here. So I don't know that. Look at that. This is exactly what I was looking for, to bang into the upside of this thing. And it did that. And now we sold off. So now that could be the starting gun to this. I'm looking for that. We have this big top. This thing's a whole ascending wedge. And it feels like we've got to come back to the beginning of this triangle, which is about $100. So again, I think we need to kind of see how today and tomorrow sort themselves out. But what I try and do is put things on the radar. And so I was kind of looking for maybe, it to kind of get up there. But, we've now retested the upside of this support line, and, looks like we're failing. And we'll have to see how we end for the week. DocuSign and all these things are in this looked like it was turning, but the whole question is it sustainable? This is a big bad downtrend, and you have these rallies and then it gets kicked back. It's certainly on the short term. And this is why I kind of have a hard time seeing, can I really see this market start kicking in and all these stocks start making new lows again? It's been a very difficult market. So we have this short term, it's like the IGV. The thing is with, unlike IGV, is that you have levitated above, certain areas. You have taken out this neckline. You did retest it. Now you're kind of right at, these, again, it's like you see that there's a lot of common intersects here. Say that's really where the resistance is. I mean, there's obviously short-term resistance right here, and we banged into it. It may be a buy into today's sell-off. DocuSign's going to open about $1 lower. And, I'm trying to say to myself, can I see it doing that? I mean, obviously isn't this big, bad downtrend, but I don't know. I'm thinking, again, that's why I would not, now you're coming off here, and I would not short anything. There's just too much probability you could come right back into the range again. So I just think it's in a difficult area. But, this was an area to be mindful of. So when it, kind of goes up there, you start peeling some off. I peel stuff off, if I'm long, I'm peeling off every $1, $2, whatever. I'm peeling off because, you get into these areas and, they respect these areas. Now, what it's going to do long term, when you look at a chart like this, it's like permanently ruined. I mean, that thing is just, it's when you see something like this destruction like this, it's, and I think that's the Zadiophobia, is that we kind of reflexively think back to the old times, when it was just going up every single day and every single month. And every time it kind of goes back up, that old, mindset wants to kick in. And I think this is what's happening is that, we're divorcing from the reality of the change on the ground. We've had 14 years of a, certain situation, and now things are changing. There's a structural change. There's a new sheriff in town. So, we see these things, and then the question is, how sustainable is all of this stuff? Or is it just going to kick back into the secular downtrend? And there's probably more chance of the latter. I mean, you've always got to be, this is just a very bad, yes, you kind of had a breakout here, and now you say, well, looks like a breakout. And it's just, it's a guessing game as to, what this thing wants to do here. You kind of have to respect the trend, but this felt like it was catching a bit of a thing to, and the thing is, these short covering rallies, some of them in the past, we've seen Upstart go to from 90 to 160. It's now down to 12. But there were times where, these short covering rallies, it's, some of these things, have been amazing in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Bed Bath & Beyond went from $2 to $6. AMC jumped. All the meme stocks have jumped. Bitcoin's gone from 17,000 to 21,000. So, you do get these periods. But the question is how sustainable. So my mindset is these are counter trend. However long this lasts, it's counter trend, and you got to watch for the main trend to kick in. So whatever you do, if you short gold, you got to be aware that the bigger trend is higher. So you may be able to take money off on counter trend trades, but you got to be aware that's what those are. You can't overstay your welcome. So this is the IGV on a weekly, on a long term. And to me, I always say, well, what's the real pattern? Which is the pattern that's going to govern, a move? And so it all started off with a very clear pattern. And then there was actually another one here, this ascending broadening. So it actually right there cleared the hurdle of both patterns. And typically when we get a huge bear, now this actually just came back down and fulfilled the objective of where this thing needed to come. So now the question is, can you bounce up here before you go back down? It can do anything. And, then we saw another little area here where, again, you could have these kind of little moonshots, all the while recognizing that, we're in a secular down market. And so for me, it's always a question of not if, but when is this thing going to kick in? And then the market really will tell us. The market actually tells us very clearly where these things go to and where they end. And it's almost scary because every time we get there, it's like, really, is it going to be this easy this time? It's actually better to see in the S&P. But every time we get to these inflection points, the market makes a new high, close on the low, 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 makes a new high, close on the low. And every time, we're followed by usually lower lows. So now you can see we hit this exact downtrend line. Well, actually came in right here if you connect all these guys. So look at that. It's pretty scary. This is what I was looking at on the S&P, the Qs, and they all hit on target, which kind of makes me very nervous. It's like when something's this easy, when it's something that, has happened. So really, is this time it's going to work? Every time it's bounced, it's kind of gone off. Is it going to be that easy? And, that's why I'm still kind of playing around with this. But you can see these levels, when they get there, you got to watch out. This is, what I try and do is try and give you an understanding of price and price action, because you can see it's not random. Prices, respect certain areas. And I think this is what I try and communicate, throughout whatever I do at the Pattern Trader. How you do it, when you do it, you can, add your own flair. But this is what, I try and point out. Now, again, we're back into this soup where, it's going to be confusing or not easy, because now it looks like this thing's going to come, but, I can see this thing kind of clearing this fairly quickly. But you can see it's very muddled in here. You've got to clear a lot of previous price history. Sometimes when we kind of back away, we create some separation, then we can have these moves. But now, sometimes it's just, this is a grind. And again, you just have to be aware of the moves and where we are. But we have to see how we're going to close by tomorrow and how this closes. That's why I look at these bars. How does this close relative to the high and low? And, by closing, now there are certain times where you close on the low, but you're into support. There's not a whole lot more you can go before you're going to get one of these. And this is what I'm afraid of. We could get here and then get one of these. Hey, if you would like to trade alongside me every day and join our most prestigious program, then head over to thepatterntrader.com/club for more information.